Should you summon? That is the big question. We have got VORN and Hex on the docket this week. A very juicy, very appealing banner. And I do think a lot of you should summon. I'm going to cut right to the chase, but in a different way than I normally recommend. I think if you're going to summon, this is an excellent week to spend some of your legendary summoning crystals, use some of those divines, and focus on the divine summoning banner. So they're going to get a 20x rate up on both standard banner styles, the Invocation of Spirits, which takes rare summoning crystals, the blue ones, or diamonds, and then the divine summoning, which is going to take the gold legendary summoning crystals. Now, why am I advising against pulling your diamonds or rare summoning crystals? Frankly, it's because we very likely have a new limited hero coming out next week. I put 2 videos out on her the past 2 days. At worst, she is good. At best, she could be fantastic. Right now, there's a clunkiness to her kit that I think limits her endgame potential. Though I'm not ruling it out completely, but if that was tweaked, she would have a lot of potential in current very difficult content and potentially future endgame content. But certainly, without a doubt, even in her current form, she is phenomenal for progression. Up through the late game, she is going to be great. It's just, will she be meta-defining in the endgame? Right now, I don't 100% see it, though it's a very unique kit, and she's got a very unique summoning mechanic, so the potential is there. Also, quite simply, a bird in the hand is worth so much more than 2 in the bush in this game. Nothing at all is guaranteed unless they say it's guaranteed, and with a limited 200 summoning banner like the one we're very likely to get for Akira, it is guaranteed. Now, for the second half of this video, I am going to spend it talking briefly, but effectively, I hope, on the virtues of VORN and Hex and why they might be very intriguing to you, because they are 2 very, very good marksmen in this game. But before we do, let's do a little math. So with a 20x, how much does that actually improve your chance to get a unit, right? How strong is that in reality? Especially how strong is it nowadays as we've seen the summon pool grow larger and larger and larger? This is going to be in a video I'm planning for next week, but the short version of it is when they introduced 20x, it was to compensate for the summoning pool getting so big that 15x didn't feel effective. And the pool now is bigger than it was going from 15 to 20x than from when 20x was introduced to now. So we really need it to jump up to 25x because so many new heroes have been added since we've gone to 20x. Just this year, we have had, where does it start? I believe it starts with right after Valise, because Astral came with an update added to the pool. And then we got Adrian, Ruin Hollow, Rosalia, Knight Arlott, and Guan Yu. That's 6 new members in the pool. I mean, we have 82 normal heroes now. So the 20x is not what it used to be when it was introduced, like, when was it introduced? Like a year and a half ago? Is that right? I have to go through my records. I'll do that before that video prep. But you can see I've put in all the hero weights and rates. We've got the lords in this kind of pinkish red, and then we've got all the normal non-lords in this kind of tan gold color. 82 units is a huge amount. I've covered this math in multiple videos, so if you don't trust me, I know what to tell you. We have an 8% chance every time we hit a legendary that it's one of the lords, and a 92% chance that it's a non-lord. So if you take that 92 and you divide it by 82, you're going to get the weight that we're looking for, which is 1.12195122. There you go. It's right there. I just rounded it to the 1,000th, so 3 spots after the decimal point. And this is what it normally looks like, right? So to get any specific lord, once you hit legendary, there's a 1% chance it's going to be that specific lord. To get any specific non-lord, it's going to be 1.12%. We can take these weights and multiply them by 20 to see how the rate up affects the banners nowadays. So if we go down here to VORN, we can take that number and we can do 20 times, and it's the same weight here, so we'll put that in. And this brings it up to 22.439 as the weight. Let's copy that and paste that for Hex as well, so we can see how they're both affected. And you can see the 20x is good, but it's nothing like what it used to be. The 20x used to bring the chance to get the rate up unit to about a 19% mark. Actually, at one point, it was closer to 19.5%. Now we're under 16% at a 15.73% chance to hit the rate up unit you so desire. Your chance, if you try to pull one legendary on the Hex and Vaughn banner, is just over 30% on that legendary that it's going to be one of those two banner units. And if you're only looking for one of them, it's less than a 16% chance. You're talking a 15.73% chance. Now you might be thinking, I've got a lot of summons to use. I'm not interested in Akira. I think that'd be a mistake, but maybe that's your line of thinking. So you're planning to summon 2 legendaries. You're ready to pull 350 summons, 360 summons if you have to, 370 if your luck's really bad. I'll hit 2 legendaries and then the progressive will kick in. Well, the progressive, as we know, is very strong on the normal banners, the non-ancient banners. Every time you don't hit a banner legendary, when you hit a legendary, until you hit one of them, it's going to rise by 10x. So you go from 20x to 200x to 2000x. In theory, you could go all the way to 20,000x. I've never seen it, but that should happen like 1% of the time when people have to pull 3 times, just about. It's all changing though, because things are getting worse because the pool's getting diluted. So you miss on the first one, you go to the 200x. So quick tangent, quick little aside. Once you do hit any banner unit, the progressive is over. You go back down to 20x. You could miss 100 times more and not get any banner unit. There's no progressive. It won't rise. It only helps you get that first banner unit, whichever one you hit. And it's not for both, right? It's just one banner unit and then it's gone. So it's very strong, right? It goes up to a 200x. So let's see what that looks like. This was 20 times the weight. Let's do 200 times the weight. Now VORN's weight is 224.390. Let's add that to Hex as well. And you'll see, huge jump, but it's not what it used to be. You have a 41% chance to get Hex if you miss on the first legendary, and a 41% chance to get VORN. This used to be a 42.5, 43% chance on each. You had about an 85%, just over an 85% chance once you missed on the first legendary and reached the 200x, that the next legendary would be one of the 2 banner rate up units. But now we're looking at an 82% chance. Not a huge change, but not an insignificant change. So it's really, really not locked in. It's really not guaranteed you'll be able to hit on this banner, frankly, unless you can hit 3 legendaries. And like 1% of the time, you won't hit on your third try too. Very unlikely, right? 99+% of people are gonna get it within 3 legendaries. Going for this is quite the gamble, especially if you consider the opportunity cost of foregoing the guaranteed great, potentially better than great limited we're getting next week with Akira. So that is my advice. I'm advising you to focus your divine summons because that limited banner for Akira, as is the case with any limited banner, if I'm right about Akira being the limited, it only takes rare summoning crystals and diamonds. So you can confidently go ahead and use your divines. I used to save my divines like crazy. To be fair, I still kind of do. I'm just trying to get to 100 now just for a video. I used to save them mostly because back in my day, Watcher Realms would fairly frequently, every 2 to 4 months, have a banner that had 3 legendaries on rate up, and it was a 2x by 10x or by 15x. They haven't done it much since we've gone to 20x, but you'd have a rate up on specific units and you'd have double the chances for legendaries. So for me, I always have liked saving my divines for that. But those banners have kind of gone the way of the dodo, or however you want to put it, and they don't really happen anymore. So I think divines are great to use when there's a banner, when you're heavily interested in both units, especially because those divine summons will not be, in conflict with the limited heroes that come fairly frequently in this game. There is one final thing to note, and I'm covering this in a video tomorrow because I know people have asked about it. There is a divine Nascent summoning, so this only takes divine summons, and it guarantees the first legendary you pull is new. It's one you've never pulled before, so this could be very strong. If you have a decent amount of divines, the move might be don't summon for VORN and Hex yet. Wait till Saturday if you're missing one or most likely both. That's why you're interested in the banner. Do your divine summoning. Maybe you'll hit one, and then you can feel happy enough, and then you can keep saving. Or maybe you miss, and then you do divine summons over here. But these guys are certainly worth it, right? They're just not guaranteed. And frankly, especially in Hex's case, unbelievably powerful, yet somehow has been, I don't want to say power crept, because I don't know that there are so many people strictly more powerful than him in what he does, but his role is not needed in many of the meta comps, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense to you. He's phenomenal for progression. He's completely viable in the end game. Very versatile unit, fantastic single target magic DPS, but the way he used to be dominating the Guild Boss 1 meta, or, was very relevant in the Guild Boss 2 Titanic Ruins meta, He's kind of not that anymore. He's never been good in other PvE content. He was never excellent in the gear raids, for example, usable but not awesome. He was meta and fantastic in Gear Dungeon 2 back when it only went up to stage 10. Now 11, 12, 13, he's good but not meta. And then he's great for like progression stuff like Void Rift and Campaign and the Tower, things like that. So Hex is still awesome. He's still strong as ever. It's just the new hardest things in the game that you need specific heroes for, he's not included in that list of specific heroes. So excellent unit. Definitively, I'd have him still at an S+, at least if you have him in his full form with his exclusive artifact, which I think nowadays you should, if you get him and you want to use him, you should, plan your wisdom meteorite farming around that because it's so important. He is as versatile as ever, as strong as ever, but he's not like strictly so meta for anything right now when you reach the really end game. For progression, it's kind of hard to beat this guy. He's still completely phenomenal. So if you want to pick him up, I think he's an enormous pickup and I wouldn't blame anyone. He's so freaking strong. VORN is strictly meta in a couple things, though they are more specific than people give it credit for. He is the linchpin in the poison comp. In the poison comp with Nastia, Numera, and VORN, or frankly, you could do it Vixera, Numera, and VORN, or you could do A3 Araka, Numera, and VORN. He's in all of those versions, right? Ideally, you have Nastia, that's going to be the best version, but even if you don't, you can make the thing work so long as you have Numera, who is like the damage staple, and VORN, who is the enabler staple. He does good damage by himself, but no one puts out more poisons than him, and him and Numera are just a dastardly duo, right? So if you're just hard stuck in Abyss 1 with your magic damage, and you have Numera, VORN is going to be an enormous pickup. He's super meta there. He's fantastic and actually underrated in Apocalypse 2 or Apocalypse 1, but he's so good you'd use him in Apocalypse 2. Excellent for Semra, Titanic Ruins. His Dispel is definitely slept on, and it's as consistent as it comes. The damage is really good too. He shreds a ton of magic resistance. He ignores a lot of it. You can see a bunch of penetration right there that he can stack permanently. So he's really good against high defense and high magic resistance opponents. VORN is very, 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 very good. However, he's not going to actually be the hard carry that Hex would be for like a younger account still progressing through. It's just if you have all the other things that go with him, you're going to want him because the reason he's so coveted is because he is that linchpin, right? That perfect Numera strategy hinges upon VORN because he's putting out more poisons than anyone else. Also, he's so good for shield content because he's got that shield break that he can put out to 2 allied fighters. It can go up to 3 if you get him A1. Very, 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 very good unit, right? That all being said, I don't think either of these guys technically are like absolutely must-have, blow everything right now level characters at this moment in the game. That's not to say they aren't both super high tier characters in the game right now, because they absolutely are. But I do think if it's one or the other, the guaranteed limited or them, it's obviously the good guaranteed limited you should go for. These two have also been on banners a million times. They will be back. There's no exclusivity here. They are coming back. So if you're a VORN away, if you're a Hex away and you want to go for it, I'd say definitely worth it. I would suggest using Divine Summons. If you already have these guys, I would not use a moment like this to go for Awakenings. I do not think it's worth it, even though they both do have good Awakenings. If you really want to use your diamonds and rare summoning crystals, I would only do that if you're a spender and you're willing to buy more, or if you have a ton saved. And I'm pretty confident no one has a ton saved. We just had that crazy Guan Yu and choose your own legendary banner. So I think very few players are still sitting on like 1,000 summons or something. So I'd play it smart. If you want to be really conservative and really smart, what I would do if I was planning on summoning on this, but I'm not even considering summoning on this, but if I was, I would wait until Sunday. Hopefully by Sunday, we have more news about Akira. We have more news about events for the next week. We get even more news about the update, which was confirmed today. I predicted it yesterday. I honestly predicted it. I had no idea. I was just like reading the tea leaves. It is coming Monday night, Tuesday morning, depending on where you live. Also, I'll tell you on Saturday, we're allowed to release information about 2 new heroes they just added to the test server. So maybe you want to hear about those guys before you make your decision. If you're really dying to, dance with the devil, play with fire, I'd wait till Sunday so you're fully informed, or as informed as you can be. Short of the long, long of the short, I would only go in on this banner if I needed both of them. And if I did it, I would only do Divine Summoning. If you think you have the most specific, unique situation ever, you can ask me in the comments and I'll try to get to it. But all in all, I would say play it safe. Don't be sorry. There you go. Thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Fastidious. Subscribe to the channel, share with your mother, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.
Fastidious.